and welcome, friends, to Kiki's Keys to Unlocking Your Best Life, sharing stories of people who've been through their worst and are now living their best to give hope and inspiration to others. And I am Kiki Rogers, your gracious hostess. Thank you so much for following us. You can now catch up with the latest website at www.kikiskeys.life. That is .life. Or find us on YouTube, Facebook, and all the podcasts. And welcome, friends, and welcome guest Wes Source, our one and only Wes Source from the radio show here. He precedes my show on the Tucson Tasty Show.
Yes.
And I am so glad you're here as our guest. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's such a pleasure. You've been on the show before.
Yes.
It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot has happened recently with your show.
Oh my gosh, it's endless. In fact, I have a list. I have the book, so I can keep up with everything. I mean, it's literally just notes and notes and coffee, and then there's. Oh, it's incredible.
That's smart. Stay organized, right?
You can get one of these books too on the thetastyshow.com for only $20.
Wonderful.
Or $19.99.
$19.99, yeah, under 20.
Yep, and plus tax.
Awesome. You're fun. You are getting really good at this marketing, plugging, representing the food culinary culture here in Tucson. And you've just been doing this for 1 year now.
Literally 1 year. We started August of 2023 broadcasting. We started building out the show and developing in March of 2023. And it was an uphill battle because, I made every mistake that any new radio show would. And it was... But it was good because I got it taken care of, and now we got approached by the TV station, and we've got the TV show out. In fact, right now, if you tune into Channel 58, you can see my beautiful face along with Chef Lindy of Thunder Bacon Burger. And
I know Chef Lindy myself. I think we were both on your show the same day.
Yes.
Yes.
And wait, he does insurance with Country Financial.
I
Never
cannot say
fine.
yes or no to anything like that.
Fair
But
enough.
I will say that Chef Lindy is an amazing chef with great burgers at Thunder Bacon Burger, located just north of downtown on 6th Street, I believe, correct?
Yes, right
Yes.
across from the Suntran.
Not Tohono, but the Suntran bus stop station
stop.
right there.
Yeah, the main hub there.
Ronstadt one, I think.
And then at the end of the show is actually going to be Harbottle. And Harbottle, Mike from Harbottle is a whole story, which is a lot of fun. And his American Gherkin, if you haven't had it, we're actually going to be down there after your show at Harbottle for a meeting and some other things. But it should be a lot of fun.
That sounds great. I definitely love the gherkin drink. It's pickled. That's like my middle name right there.
We know.
Pickles.
You were on the show and you were like, this is incredible. You love it.
It is. It is really good.
It's Kiki approved.
I love that. That's the trademark.
Trademark. There you
That's
go.
awesome. So 1 year ago, I started out with Kiki Rogers Country Financial Insurance as a sponsor on the Tucson Tasty Show, and got to be a part of this first year with you. I'm so grateful for that. And that's really what catapulted me into this position in my own show. So I definitely have a soft place in my heart for all that you guys do. And I wanted to invite you on today and share about this new adventure of you guys expanding onto TV. I think that's great.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it was an amazing opportunity, and it's been one after another. One of the coolest things was actually something that you introduced us to, and it was the podcast platform that we're actually broadcasting on. I can hit one button, and I literally go to every platform.
On Spreaker.
On Spreaker, yes. And it's great because I'm listened to worldwide. In fact, a couple of the episodes, in fact, it was Michael Elefante's episode, one of them, because all 4 of his episodes have been amazing. We love having him on the show. He's definitely a friend of the Tucson Tasty Show. And he was the first episode of the TV show as well. But they've actually caught, and, with KVOI's backing here at The Voice and everything, it's really blown up. And because of that, everybody went on to social media on Instagram and actually picked up and started following us. So I have a world following, not a big one.
Awesome.
It's very small population of the world.
But it's a start.
It might be enough to fill no, never mind. A small island.
Okay.
A very small island. But with the TV show and everything going, it was incredible. I've never done TV. I've never done radio. I've always marketed myself fairly well. And I like this a lot better because I'm talking to other people and I'm marketing them and talking about their brand, their stories, and that's the key.
Right.
And it's your key. It's your story, right? That's the important part. And Michael's, and you can actually check out the YouTube channel and watch the Mama Luisa's episode. In fact, we're thinking about remixing it a bit and getting more, because we had 7 hours of content from Mama Luisa's. I mean, it was lot.
That's a lot to work with.
Right.
So you think maybe a follow-up show already?
Right. The continuation of the Mama Luisa's, because his story is so incredible. He didn't just grow up in the restaurant. He left the restaurant to hone his skills. He went to Pima Community College to get that hospitality training, and then he went to Dove Mountain and he worked literally as a chef I can't say it all of a sudden. Gardener, the
like a
salad
master
chef.
gardener for food consumption.
The salad chef.
Okay.
He chopped up all the salads, and that's why the salad from him is so amazing. We're going to be able to try some of this.
Wes is so wonderful in giving. He just finished his show and had some of the samples from Mama Luisa's, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't messing that up.
Sure. Yeah.
And he's going to share some of that with us. So before we dive into the hard stuff, talk about some of those lessons learned and some of those tools and skills that you've tapped into to find your best self and your best life this last year. We're going to do that after the break so we can have some time to try this food out. Starting out with, you brought in a caprese salad. Tell us about the caprese.
So Chef Michael, he brought in this caprese salad, and this is his take on the caprese salad, because he doesn't like just the raw tomato thrown on the plate. So he actually roasts these tomatoes, and then on top of that, you need another element. So he puts his pesto on there as well, and then you get
that's homemade pesto there. You can tell.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, and it's actually homemade mozzarella. He makes the mozzarella in the restaurant.
Wow.
And it's really it's really incredibly tasty. And one of the reasons why I say Stay Tasty Tucson. But this, you also get the microgreens here, and these microgreens are from Sierra Vista Microgreens. And you can, when you bite into it, you get this really rich, developed flavor from the tomatoes. And it's broken down. It's not. It's like a roasted tomato. I don't know if you've ever had a roasted tomato. And then you get the mozzarella sweetness from the mozzarella, and you get the microgreens, and it just pulls all together.
It does, and you got balsamic vinegar and olive oil on that. The mozzarella is so tender and rich, and it just like slides in the mouth easily. Don't give me that look. He's giving me this look. I'm about to take a huge bite here. This really is refreshing and flavorful.
Right. Yeah. No, it's definitely one of my favorites. When I go there, I always get this, and then I get some bread because you got to mop up all that amazing pesto and everything else.
I think the pesto is my favorite part of that. I love pesto. This is really good. And what's the other item that you brought?
So he brought in, it's a salad, but it's an Italian salad. So you got the sliced cold cuts. You got sliced mushrooms. You get sliced olives. You got eggs. You've got everything that you could want on a salad.
There's ribbons of thin onion that just looks delicate and yet just fresh and vibrantly colored.
Absolutely. And one of the cool things about these onions is he uses them in different multiple recipes. So they slice them really thin, and then they'll actually toss them in a type of starch, and then they fry them. And he calls them tobacco onions because it almost resembles tobacco leaves, but you get that crunchy flavor. And he puts that on top of the kale saw with the Guido Alfredo.
Now, is any of this pickled, or is it just has a good vinegar?
I think you've
undercore?
got the giardiniera, actually. So you got a couple of the giardiniera. Those carrots aren't just carrots. It's from a bucket of pickled giardiniera.
They are pickled. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And oil and stuff, and it's the Italian peppers.
Mm-hmm. Well, so good. And black olives.
Oh yeah, it's always my
But
favorite.
it's definitely that Italian thin slice salami and
You got that real prosciutto.
Prosciutto.
And you definitely have salami there. You got some really good stuff, and it's actually almost an antipesto.
oh, okay, yep. So we're going to go to break right now so that Wes and I can just shove this in our face real fast, and then we'll come back and hear Wes share a little bit more about some of those lessons learned over his first year on the radio and how you can get involved too with the TV show. We'll be right back after this. And welcome back. And yes, as I promised, Wesley and I just dug into that salad. That was incredible. Thank you again to you and to Mama Luisa's and Chef Michael. Say his last name again for me.
Elefante.
Elefante.
You got to say it that way every time too. It's Elefante.
Elefante. I love it. And I love his cooking. I'm always impressed. And so that location was where your first TV show was recorded at. You said you got like 7 hours. 7 hours of footage. That's incredible.
Yep.
What's some of the surprises you had in that first experience?
The biggest surprise was I was in charge and I was filming a TV show. I showed up and I was ready to go. I had a storyboard. I had a shot list. I was ready to roll out. And all of a sudden, everybody showed up, and I'm waiting for somebody to go, all right, it's time to go. And then I realized, the internal talk, right, the self-talk, I'm in charge. And I've got to say it's time to go and get ready and do this and do that. And that was probably one of the most, it was kind of surreal because I have no problem leading, but I definitely like to lead from behind. I like I'm fine with other people taking charge and doing what they need to do, but I'm not afraid to speak up and and voice my opinion.
And for those who don't know, you do come with military background with the Air Force.
Yeah, Air Force, 6 years.
So not necessarily a very creative outlet in comparison to what you're doing now.
I think I had a different experience than a lot of the military. Now, going through basic training, it was a basic training, so it was very rigid. Technical school was very rigid. And I love the Air Force and what it did for me. But it put a little bit of organization behind who I was, essentially. And then I got to my first base and I did my CDCs, which is essentially OJT, on the job training. And except at the end you have like a 4-hour test. It's exhausting. But and you have to remember stuff like every little thing is trying to get you to pick the wrong answer. It's just one of those fun things, but good enough for government work, as I like to say. And
thank you though for your service.
course,
We
thank
joke
you.
about it, but really we absolutely love our veterans. So thank you for that.
But I was a teacher.
Yeah.
So I got to develop curriculum, and I had to speak in front of large groups constantly. So it's really where I found the basis for a lot of what I'm doing now, because I've applied a lot of what I learned in the military to the radio, to the TV, and otherwise, and making sure that when I show up to where I'm going, we do have a game plan instead of just showing up and hoping for the best, because that's not. That's never the good way of doing it. You're never going to get to 100% or get to where you should be if you don't prepare.
In my grief coaching with clients, we're focusing on moving upward and forward. And I hear that in how you shared that story, how you're always looking to kind of move forward with what you know and to do more with it. How can people apply that in their everyday lives?
That's an interesting question because it's something I think that a lot of people they have the answer for, and they talk about how they've done it and they do it day to day. And what they're not talking about is it's a day to day struggle.
Yes.
It's not something that just happens with anybody. And at the end of the day, it's you wake up and you've got to plan out your day. One of the things I've learned from one of my new mentors is if you have a list of things that you're going to accomplish that day and you get those done, you've accomplished something. If you're trying to do everything simultaneously, you're not accomplishing anything.
Yes. It's so much easier when you can
But-
just focus on one thing at a time and be
Yes.
more mindful through that experience.
And having that saying that though, it's making sure that you're getting the you're also identifying needs. So as you're going through the important things versus not the important things.
That's interesting because my next question I was going to ask you before you even said that is, as a father of 3 children, a husband, a radio and now TV personality, as well as a leader in the community and really involved in our community events and nonprofits, how do you prioritize for yourself?
I rely heavily on my schedule. And if it's not on the schedule, it almost doesn't exist. So, getting a calendar laid out, and planning time, in fact, producer Tina and my wife, who I call producer Tia, we sat down yesterday and we talked about how to game plan, effective communication and how we can be more effective in that communication. So we came up with a game plan, and it's the kids are all going to be in school. The younger ones have actually started school already, and then the older one is starting school on Monday.
Yeah, the junior year they were sharing with
yeah.
me. Yeah, good one.
And she's driving us around today to make sure that she's comfortable driving by
for
herself.
her.
But
She's doing great.
Yes, she is. So every morning for breakfast, we're going to sit down, we're going to take some time, and we're going to discuss what we need to discuss and make sure we're working on our relationship as well as
Right.
being effective with getting work done, because working with your spouse is probably about the hardest thing you could do.
Of course, because you're blending so much of your life all together,
Right.
and there's no separation at some point.
And I have found that I'm very good at it only because I compartmentalized everything when I was in the military. So
Gotcha.
I didn't have a choice but to learn how to do that very quickly. And it's something that I'm teaching to Tina, so that she can be effective with that as well, and making sure that we're not overwhelming or running
what
over
is-
everything.
She teaching you as well.
Patience.
Stern and red, folks.
Yeah.
I think I hit a button there.
What is she teaching me?
Because it's give and take on both ends. The feminine and the masculine, we're all about inclusion here, but for stereotypes, they do have some conflicts, and we do teach each other in relationships.
She's my wife. I mean, every man that says that or has a wife understands what that means, and it's hard to kind of identify. She's incredible. She's the rock, and it's about when we're not
Problem solving or
problem solving, communicating everything to each other.
parenting.
It's not effective, and it definitely shows. So she's teaching me patience, and
Good.
you think that the kids would think, or your kids teach you patience, but
Oh,
the
no.
kids are kids.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing with having a partner that's equal part is having that patience so that you can get that equal. Yeah.
Equal. Oh, now you got me going. Equilibrium is
Thank
kind
you.
of where you're going. Yeah.
All of my words are gone for the day.
You're doing a great job. It's not like you've been on the air for the last 2 hours straight, essentially.
No big deal.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on today and sharing about your adventures. just tell us again more about how people can tune in to the
Sure.
TV show, your YouTube page. How can they find the Tucson Tasty Show?
The Tucson Tasty Show is best found at thetastyshow.com. And it's a central location for everything that you need to learn about not only the Tasty Show, the Tucson Tasty Show, but also how to find the events where we're going to be live. I'll be there in person and we take interviews. We've got some amazing mics where it literally filters out all the background noise. We did a launch, soft launch with a restaurant that opened up actually at 4 p.m. today, which we're super excited about. It's downtown right next to Oban, but it has some amazing it's not Middle Eastern food. It's actually Spanish food. And it's incredible, but I'm rambling. I apologize.
You're doing fine. I know you're excited about all of this.
The events, the event page on thetastyshow.com is the best way to go.
Thetastyshow.com.
And you can also go to thetastyshow.com and join our subscription, our membership. Now, our membership is the Tucson Tasty Show supporters. The Tucson Tasty Show supporters get information before everybody else, and then everybody else gets it after them. And then there's also going to be some pretty cool gifts as well as discounts as we expand that partnership, because the whole goal of the Tucson Tasty Show is to support all of the hospitality industry in Tucson.
And what channel on TV here locally in Tucson can they catch the show?
You can tune in on KGON 9, 5 a.m. every Saturday, or again on the CW, that's channel 58 at 4 p.m.
On Saturdays. TiVo that. Listen to my show live every Saturday at 4 o'clock here on KVOI The Voice. But if you miss my show as well, just as Wes shared, the tastyshow.com, you can also catch my website at kikiskeys.life or on YouTube at Kiki's Keys Life and Facebook at Kiki's Keys. Wes, thank you so much for being on the show today and
Thank
being
you for
part.
having us.
Well, and thank you for inviting me part of your radio family as well. This has been a great adventure over the last year, and I'm really excited to see where it takes both of us going forward.
It's about community building, and that's why at the end of every show I say, stay tasty, Tucson.
I like that very much. Well, and at the end of every show, for me, it's go be the best you that you can be, because nobody else can do it better. Till next week, folks, have a good day.